Chase Thomas the Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Chase Thomas Podcast from Still, the aforementioned Chase Thomas coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me over there from Omaha Productions and Rocky Top Insider, Jack Foster, is here. Jack, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chase. Been a busy week, but a fun one. Trade deadline Tuesday absolutely rocked my entire world. That was an insane day, one of the craziest days I've had on the job yet, but we made it through it. Tomorrow's the off day. Well, I guess when you're listening, it is Friday. So let's go. It's the weekend. Lot to look forward to.
No ball football this weekend, unfortunately. And I think the weather is actually going to be pretty crazy this weekend, if I remember seeing the weather report. I don't know if it's going to get over to your neck of the woods here, Jack Foster, but I think we're going to have some pretty turbulent weather, it seems like, over the next couple of days.
Like storms, like rain?
Yeah, I think it's stormy. I think so. I'm pretty sure. Ryan Sylvia, RockyTopInsider.com. Am I correct? Do you know about the weather this weekend?
Absolutely no clue.
Oh,
I'll
you're
be
off the grid.
inside Thompson Bowling Arena, Food City Center.
Sylvia,
it'll be all right.
Hey, Sylvia's too dialed covering 3 beats at one time right now to focus on the weather, you know?
So if there was one guy who would be has the ability to cover 3 beats simultaneously, it's Ryan Sylvia, because he's the only person I know who has been like, don't question my typing ability. Don't question how fast I can piece together an article. If there's somebody who can carve out 4 different pieces on 3 different sports in one day, Sylvia here in East Tennessee is probably my number 1 pick to be able to pull that off.
The great Rick Butler put me onto a new video game that came out. I think it's called Final Sentence, and it's just like a type racer, like Battle Royale, and I grind it all day. It's so much fun.
Do you what do you mean you grind it? Like I thought that was just like a thing. It was a bit. You actually use this like every day. You're constantly doing this.
No, yeah, I think it's fun. I love typing. I'm a typer.
I love typing. What a sentence.
But I learned something new about Chase Thomas the other day at Texas Roadhouse. I went with Jack Foster, would have got the invite as well, as we went to figure out our new mid-major team we were going to root for this year, which we landed on North Texas. And I found out that you're a UNC Asheville guy.
What do you mean?
I heard UNC Asheville is your second favorite team.
Not second favorite, but I appreciate the Asheville Bulldogs for sure. Love
Drew
Asheville.
Pember?
Drew Pember, big.
I thought it was UNC Asheville right behind Alabama.
Crimson Chase. Hey.
Crimson Chase.
Hey, big game next week. Oklahoma coming to town. How you feeling?
This bit's got to stop.
After Oklahoma just beat like what?
Probably
what, Ryan, his 4th favorite team last week. You know, that may have stung a little bit, but
nothing to beat a good Alabama rival, though. Chase Thomas is the type of guy, number 1 Alabama football, number 2 whoever's playing Tennessee.
Oh, okay, understood. So you did, yeah.
It was a mistake putting Ryan Sylvia and Jack Foster on the same podcast together. Mistakes were made, and we haven't even started. We really haven't even gotten into anything. I didn't know that this was something I was walking into here with Jack and Ryan.
Hey, Chase, I don't know if you know this. You would love this fact, by the way. Ty Simpson actually grew up 40 minutes away where I'm from. Martin is just down the road from Paris. Yeah. My mom actually is the assistant director of the Weakley County school system, so she knows his family and everything. Maybe we could set up a meet between you guys, you know, tell them you're my friends and, you know, Ty's your hero. So I think it could work.
That's great. And also, I don't think you can say somewhere's down the road when it's 40 minutes away. When is it no longer down the road? I mean, it's technically down the road, but when people say that, don't they mean like just like
a quick
well, like Maryville's down the road from Knoxville, and that's about 35, 40.
I wouldn't say it's down the road.
I would say that's down that field. I would say Maryville's closer though than 40 minutes from not like downtown Knoxville.
From downtown Knoxville, I guess it depends on where Maryville, because Maryville stretches, so it could be a ways. Alcoa, I would say it could be down the road from downtown Knox. I would say that's
okay, you got me there. 45 minutes from Neyland to Maryville High School. So
yeah.
All right, you got me there. And I would say that feels down the road, so I'll give it to Jack.
But so now it's just a vibes thing, and what down the road actually means.
Well, it's the whole, like, have you seen the debate of when you're getting off the exit, you know, the signs show up when you're getting off the exit, like, hey, McDonald's right here.
Yeah.
And then you get off and it's like 8.2 miles to the right, the McDonald's. Like, at what point can you not put that on the sign? It's kind of simple.
I would say anywhere past 2.5 miles it's not. I would say anything over 2.5 miles is egregious. Can't do it. That should be a law. If it's over 2.5 miles, you can't put it on the sign.
Signs?
On the, when you're getting off the exit, if it's like Zaxby's 8.2 miles from this exit, be like, no.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
kind of crazy. It's funny, like Paris exit, it says Camden, Paris Parsons, exit 126 on 40. But from that exit, Paris is 45 miles away.
Right down the road.
That's what's happening here. Jack grew up in it, and just everything's technically down the road because it takes forever to get anywhere.
Yeah, because
Jack's out of town.
It's just like, how many miles of corn do you have to pass to get to the next community?
I mean, there you go.
That's all this to say, though. I don't know where someone was misinformed about your love for UNC Asheville men's basketball.
No, I love UNC Asheville. They're just not my second favorite team. I do love UNC Asheville. Love their style. I believe that there should be a program where there's a world where Drew Pember goes to UNC Asheville for his first 2 years and then flips to Tennessee his final 2.
Wins a natty.
Yeah. Really, really good stuff. I would have loved to see Pember lighten up threes at the top of the key like we thought Adu or if you had flipped Adu with upperclassman Drew Pember based on what we saw in Asheville and how he was coached there. 50-point burger at one point for the Bulldogs. Yeah. Would have been fun.
Does Rick let him see the floor if he can't play defense, though? That's what it all comes down to.
Right.
It's true. But yeah, no, I love Asheville. Honeymoon to Asheville. Go to Asheville a lot. It's more I'm a big Asheville guy as a whole. Western Carolina guy as a whole. Yeah.
You're a tourist.
That's their minor league team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The Asheville Tourists, yeah. I agree.
There you go.
Love it. I'm a big tourist guy when it comes to Asheville. Love Asheville. Go support the good folks over there in Asheville. It's about to be their elite season here. I think my wife and I might be there. Omni Grove Park Inn next month. Do you know what they do in December? Oh, they do a gingerbread house competition at the Omni Grove Park Hotel Inn. It's fantastic stuff.
So you going to participate?
No, I'm just going to go look at all of them and hang out with my wife. And
really, they do that here too.
Yeah, it's just not you gotta go.
You gotta understand, Sylvia, just Chase's disdain for Knoxville. All things
because they do it near campus too. So then he has to drive past Neyland, and it's a whole deal.
He's like, Asheville trees in the fall, sign me up. Knoxville trees, get the hell out of here. Hate everything Knoxville.
No, hold on. Smoky Mountain trees, sure. Yeah, some.
Yeah, but as long as they're not in the 865, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying you're in the camp of you're with the the Alabama guys. You were saying Rocky Top's in North Carolina, your favorite state.
Yeah.
This is just this is diabolical. This is bullying. This is unbelievable. Feels like Shump put you both up to this. This just has Shump written all over it.
No, Shump would never.
No. Okay.
Good guy.
Saint.
Well, fellas, let's start things off with some baseball. Tennessee baseball, Jack. How sneaky big, because it feels like forever ago, that Elander hired away the Florida Gators associate head coach. He obviously had some history back at TCU with Josh Elander, but we talked about on the podcast where, Ricky Martinez, Ross Kivett, there were different guys. We kind of wondered who might get elevated, but it felt like it would probably be in-house that Elander might go. And he doesn't. And he goes and gets a veteran and a guy who obviously has been a well-regarded hitting coach and done great work, obviously, with O'Sullivan over there in Gainesville. But what do you make about this move to beef up the staff around him going into his first year, and then the new role for Ross Kivett going into 2026 as well?
Yeah, the Ross Kivett thing makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's been a part of, outside of a couple of years, these guys for a long time now. So for him being recruiting coordinator makes a ton of sense. I think there's a good line of continuity there, and Tennessee will continue to recruit at a high level. The Chuck Jeroloman piece, no sneaky about it. This is massive to hire, absolutely huge to pull this kind of thing off in year one before it even starts. Obviously, he was Florida's interim head guy with, solely dealing with some personal things, but this is a guy who's been with Florida for years, has coached a lot of high-end talent, especially hitting talent. You look at Cags and Fabian. This guy's an absolute stud. And, fortunate for Tennessee fans, Elander had that familiarity going back to the Fort Worth days and TCU. But yeah, this is just incredibly huge. You got Frank holding down the fort with the pitching staff. That's going to continue to perform at a high level. And now with Elander taking on the head role, having some help with the offensive side of things here, and a lot of help at that with Chuck Jeroloman coming in, it is huge. And it's a guy who has a lot of experience in the SEC. He's been around the block, of course, with big time programs, big time seasons, big time players. So if anything were to ever happen, he's associate head coach for a reason. He's more than capable of leading this club as well.
Yeah, I did not think they would do this. And I think Ross Kibbett's awesome. And he was one of the other ones who it's great that he's back. He's a big time recruiter. And I think Elander needed another guy because it was Elander and Tony, right? Like that was a big part of this, was like they were the two-headed monster. And what did Garrett Crochet say about them? Like two sides of the same coin, basically, in terms of just who they are as baseball coaches and everything else. So for me, I'm like, it was kind of imperative to keep Ross Kibbett part of this group because he's just really good. And to keep him, to keep Q, to add this Florida associate coach. How do you pronounce his last name? I've been careful to do it because I'm not sure yet.
I'm not honestly sure yet either, but I would assume Jeroloman or Jeroloman.
Jeroloman. Okay, we'll go with Jeroloman. But either way,
good to me.
I'm excited. I think it's a strong staff, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see how it all plays out. But you have two key recruiting coordinators on the staff still with Elander and Ross, and I think that is a two-headed monster that should continue Tennessee on this recruiting hot streak that they have had under Coach V and Elander for the last several years. Sylvia, unfortunately, on some more depressing news, the Lady Vols, they went down to NC State. You had a very funny tweet where I think I texted Shump and Jack in the group chat, and I was like, Sylvia is coming out of here firing. Like Sylvia just, it. Yeah, like he's trying to go viral out of the gate. But it was great stuff from you. Fired up in that technical foul on Janai Barker on that 3. Which you correctly pointed out, just a really unfortunate scene all across the board. And I'm just glad everyone was safe before in that moment from Barker's actions over there towards the bench, the Wolfpack bench. But Tennessee, the Lady Vols, they fall 0-1 in a top 10 matchup. What was, in your estimation, the biggest reason they lost this basketball game this week, Sylvia? And what do you think was even the biggest bright spot in defeat?
I would say the biggest reason they lost is just kind of the early season slop that you get from a lot of teams across the country, but it's going to be something that you'll see, now and then with Kim Caldwell's teams when they do have so many newcomers. I mean, you have 3 transfers that all played big minutes. You have 5 freshmen, 4 of them played, 3 of them played big minutes. So of the 10 to 11 players you played, you're looking at like 6 or 7 of them are newcomers that haven't had to play in the system yet and in a game, I guess, because you have the entire practice, the offseason to practice and do that stuff. But when it comes to specifically fouling, like you can get Gabe Lazo or Roman Tubner or Angel or someone else to blow the whistle in practice and say, hey, that's a foul. It's different when it's an official and that's leading to points for the other team. And that kind of makes it more real, I guess, when you're in actual game format and you're getting those fouls called on you. And that's something that bit Tennessee was the foul differential. Now, the officiating was absolutely horrendous, but Tennessee was objectively fouling way more than NC State was. So if you're going to go at the foul discrepancy strictly from an officiating standpoint, I think that's a little silly because the Lady Vols were a lot more physical and were fouling more. But there is some credence to the officiating being pretty garbage in that game with that technical foul you mentioned being the biggest part of it. So that's what I kind of chalk a lot of it up to is it's early in the season. They're getting used to it, and they were still in a 1-possession game against the top 10 team in the country, and the talent really jumped off the page. So I think that's the bright spot is you looked really talented. Pelasia Cooper looked like an all-SEC player. She looked like she could be an SEC player of the year and a WNBA draft pick. Janai Barker looked like everything she's billed to be. You go down the list, some of the freshmen. Mia Paldo didn't have the greatest game, but showed flashes. Jada Silva looked fantastic in her minutes. You saw the potential this team has. So, I chalk a lot of it up to just like it's early in the season. I don't think Kim's going to schedule a lot of these games either against top teams early because she likes to get, some stuff under her belt before they get into those big matchups. And you just kind of roll with it. And they should be fine in this upcoming stretch of out-of-conference play.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people were really excited about Barker in particular. It seems like that's one of the biggest, if not, because you kind of expected Cooper to make that jump and kind of be that star and looks like a top WNBA draft pick in 26. But Barker, she's bounced around a little bit, super talented though, and obviously on a really good UCLA team last year. But I think she's someone who seems like her role is going to be bigger and she's going to be more impactful than I think a lot of Lady Vol fans had anticipated before she came in.
Yeah, she just needs to rebound at the clip we saw her against Columbus State. Now, Columbus State didn't have a player within like 6 inches of her, so obviously it's going to be a lot easier in that game than against an NC State team that has Camille Pierre and a bunch of really good forwards. But she needs to rebound at a better clip. Some of that was, you're boxing out, and maybe it's your job to just kind of clear out the lane and have someone swoop in and grab the rebounds. The numbers aren't all the way there. But at the same time, she needs to be more of an impact on the glass on the offensive end as well. She could be someone that has a bunch of second chance points and follows her own shot and does those types of things. But you saw the 3-point shot has looked good early. You saw her hit some from the mid-range, which could be a big deal too when things kind of start to break down on the offensive end, when they get into those half-court sets and nothing's really happening. They just kind of need someone to get a bucket and take over in isolation. I think she's someone they can go to. And there's a lot of reasons she's being looked at as a potential top 10 WNBA draft pick. And it's not because she can go into a WNBA team and be a superstar and be Caitlin Clark or Candace Parker from back in the day or something like that. It's because she could go in and play such a valuable role as a stretch forward that plays good defense and rebounds well, that that doesn't just grow on trees. That's a very valuable position to have. And if you have someone that can do it at the level she can, then it's absolutely worth taking not even really feel like a risk, just kind of a sure thing in the first round of the WNBA draft.
I love it. We'll talk some more Lady Vols here in just a second. But before we continue that, Jack, this was something, that I have been thinking.
Question here.
What?
I said, yeah, it's an interesting question here. I want to see why you asked it.
Well, Jack Foster, here's how I know you didn't read my article this week on sportsrenaissanceman.com, because I kind of brought this question up in my piece.
Come on, Jack.
That was such a shot at me.
You're a horrible guy, Jack.
Yeah, like I just...
Dude, I work like 12 hours a day. My bad.
I'm sorry.
Dude, someone doesn't have 20 hours a day built-in reading time like Chase Thomas.
That's right.
It just, it kind of hurts, Like I carve out time for my friends' pieces. Like I read Sylvia, I read Jack Foster when he's writing during baseball season. I'm reading Shumpert all the time because he's writing about everything. Like I'm reading my guys over at Rocket Top Insider, and I just thought that I thought it went both ways, but apparently Jack Foster, he'll get to it when he gets to it.
Jack's standing up for Rick Butler because you didn't mention Rick, so Jack's taking a protest until you start reading Rick too.
Now, let me ask you
Rick,
this.
Hold on. Rick is like he's a what is Rick? Rick's like the CEO. I look at Rick as like the CEO of RTI. Like he does he does all the different stuff. Like I don't know, like Rick, like would you quantify Rick football, baseball, basketball? Like I think he's doing like a lot of the newsy and like the the video and audio and all that stuff. Like I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Rick's the mouse running on the wheel. He's making.
He's like, on.
Yeah, exactly. He's giving you a high bottom line.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Shumpert adds the flair. Sylvia does both, I think.
Sylvia and Shumpert at the same publication is dangerous work because the combination of the flames between the two of them. You should never have two Ryans on the same.
Two RSs.
Mm-hmm. Two RSs. That's true. God, if one of y'all if y'all both had your middle name be an S, you could literally have a podcast at RTI called the RSS feed.
Like Rock Solid Sports.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that a radio? Am I missing a radio joke here?
Oh, that's what podcast.
Yeah,
okay.
Student radio station's called RSS.
Oh.
Kind of already taken, pal.
Yeah,
I got a hoodie over there that says it somewhere.
That's true. But yeah, no, I mean, this is a long way of getting back to the fact that Jack Foster revealed that he had not read my piece.
Okay. I wanted to say something. Have you watched one of any of the 4 live college football recap SV pods we've done on Saturday night yet?
I don't watch podcasts. I listen to them.
Well, that is my proudest and biggest piece of work every week.
I know you're killing it over there. You're doing a great job. I'm encouraging you every week. You're doing a great job.
You haven't watched one SV pod. I didn't read your article.
I
Fine.
listened to the pod though. I listened to SV pod.
I'm in the live stream. I'm leaving comments.
That
I'm
is
No, you're
true.
not.
Sylvia, no,
yes, I
he
am.
is.
Yes, I am.
Is he
He is.
really?
Yes.
Is Slippers in there after
Yes.
midnight?
Yes, absolutely.
Unbelievable. Okay. I stand corrected. Sylvia, you didn't strike me as a night owl.
I'm not. No, I'd try to
It
go to bed by 10:30.
It
If
doesn't
it's a
matter.
Saturday, I'm already at Neyland, first of all. So
That's
it's a
true.
late night already. And then I'll do anything for Jack. So
Oh.
Bang.
Dang.
I
This
saw-
is something I
saw
did
Jack.
not know.
I diverted my normal route to the press box last Saturday to go see Jack.
Oh yeah,
He
Jack was
did.
in town this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a fun day.
Unbelievable. Wow.
I was turning it all the way up.
He was getting Neyland loud. Let's just say that.
He was getting Nealon.
The Neyland effect was in full effect.
Oh my God. Well, Jack, all that to say, one of the things I really touched on in this article, and so one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately, is because this coaching cycle in 2025 is as crazy and as unique as it's going to be for, I think, a while. I think this year is just one of those crazy years where it's just a crazy amount of people on the market.
Yeah.
That I think this is the kind of time where a lot of guys that would not be in your purview, or guys who would not be available beneath Heupel, like an OC or a DC, a la Chip Kelly, over there at UCLA, and then as sitting head coach becomes the OC for Ryan Day, and that obviously paid huge dividends. You saw Sean Lewis leave his post as the head coach after a great year at Kent State. He becomes the OC. It didn't work out for Dion at Colorado, but he left for that opportunity. Do you go that route? Do you look at Eric Morris at North Texas and you're like, that guy just knows what he's doing with a guy who did not start any high school football games and is just killing it with the Mean Green as their QB1? Like, do you go out and add, like, you're okay with your staff below you as it stands right now, but there's also a part of you where it's like Jim Knowles is going to be available because of the Penn State firing. Blake Baker is available because of the LSU firing. You kind of look around and you're like, man, this is just a unique spot where, like, if you were ever going to bolster your staff around you to help make your job easier, this is actually the time to do it, because I don't think you're going to have this many elite names available. It will be pricey to make those additions, but I do think that's the conversation that I think is more fascinating, not the Heupel hot seat, because I think that's all very silly. Yeah. But I do think the coordinator conversation beneath him, like, if you think you can do better than Tim Banks, because I think Tim Banks is solid. If you think you can do better than Joey Halsey, who I think is solid, then this is the time to look around to be like, if we're going to really beef up and go for some big fish hunting, like, this is the actual offseason. And if you operate under that assumption, do you tend to think, I'd rather spend big at DC or I'd rather spend big at OC this offseason?
Yeah, it's a great question and a ton of great points there just about how many names are going to be available. And while I don't know, like, which coordinator is better than the other, or if that even matters, I think both Banks and Halsey are solid, but like you said, but not great. So an upgrade could be had. My thing is that the identity of Tennessee football, like, in this Heupel era, has been the Heupel offense, like tempo, this style of football with fast, fun, real. That's like the catchphrase, right? Mm. So I feel like in my football watching experience over the last decade and a half has been that when you see a guy who has this unique style, that he's a mind, right? Like Josh Heupel is a known offensive mind. He has this brand. You don't see them bring in a big name offensive coordinator to run their offense, because chances are the styles aren't going to mesh. Josh Heupel is very unique. It's what makes him popular. Mm-hmm. So I don't really see how it would work if you brought in a big name offensive coordinator. It almost would be kind of like a, what does this mean for Josh type of thing? Because if you brought in an OC with some head coaching experience, or who is a hot, potential head coaching name, it wouldn't make a lot of sense in my mind. I think you kind of saw all that with Florida State a little bit. I just don't see it happening, honestly. So I think if Tennessee were to swing big at a coordinator, it would be DC by default, because of what I said about Heupel and how unique he is as an offensive mind. And that's kind of what you're buying into now if you're Tennessee. But DC, you could bring someone in to lead the defense and swing big on a Knowles or a Baker. Like I think those guys are definitely better than Tim Banks. And if you can get one of those guys, then yeah, I'd do it, because those guys could take you, to the next level.
I tend to agree. Where do you stand on that, Sylvia?
I don't think you should make a move at either coordinator spot. I
Hmm.
would agree with Jack. If you're mad at Joey Halzle, the quarterback coach, sure. I don't know why
Yeah.
you would be, but if that's the stance you want to take, sure. If you're mad at Joey Halzle, the offensive coordinator, that makes absolutely no sense. He's not calling the plays. He's just kind of the eyes in the sky and almost like quality control at that point of just having the all 22 look from up in the press box to give the Heupel. So that doesn't make much sense if you want to make a move there. And then everything Jack was saying too about how it's Heupel's off. You're not going to bring in Chip Kelly, who doesn't run Heupel's offense. That doesn't make sense. So if you do make a move, it would be defensively. I just think Tim Banks is a good defensive coordinator. I think he's one of the better ones in the country. Has Tennessee's defense been good this year? No. Have they been missing their 2 starting cornerbacks and for the bulk of the start of the season, 2 interior defensive linemen, a spot they're already thin at? Sure. Now, part of it is Tim Banks, at least in the interior of the defensive line, like it's his roster to help build on defense. So you can blame him to that regard. And has his play calling and stuff been perfect? No, but I still think he's a good defensive coordinator. And I thought he called a pretty darn good game against Oklahoma last Saturday as well. So I would not move from either of those guys. The move Tennessee football needs to make is there needs to be some sort of associate head coach that handles the entirety of clock management and in-game situations of that sort for Josh Heupel, because there's clearly too much on us. The clock management this year has been horrid. The timeout usage has been terrible. The end of the first half, end of games, it's just been bad. If Heupel wants to keep calling plays, which I think he should keep calling plays, then he needs to have someone in his ear where he just blindly, hey, Josh, timeout, timeout, timeout. And he just goes and calls a timeout immediately without thinking twice. He needs some sort of guy like that rather than a new coordinator. That would be the change I would make this offseason.
I think that's fair. I guess what I would say, though, in terms of the offense, like, I think there's a way of meeting in the middle where part of the reason that it has less to do with Halzle and it's more to do with what you're talking about, Sylvia, which is, hey, we need Josh to stop calling plays and focus more on game management. We're going into year 6. Like, so, no. What I'm saying is, like, so if like when you're talking about like Halsley's been fine, but like the offense and like you're not going to go out and hire someone who's not going to run Heupel's scheme. But what you could do is like Jake Spavital at Baylor. He's been killing it with Sire Robertson, who was also great with Jeff Levy, and Sire Robertson has been really, really good at Baylor this year, and in particular, like that offense kind of translates, and he's kind of evolved anyway. Like Heupel has adjusted his scheme a lot this year, so I think he has shown he is willing to not die on that hill of what we saw in the vertical passing game the last 2 years with the wide splits and everything else. Like he's adjusted, like he's evolved, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. So for me, I'm like, maybe he might be more open to hiring like a sitting head coach at North Texas, like Eric Morris or something, to be his OC. And that guy, he just trusts him. Like they still work together to carve out the plan. I mean, Seth Luttrell is in there. You can maybe have a co-offensive coordinator type deal, but whatever it takes to get him more engaged in like the actual game management part of it, because eventually you're going to have to do that. Like eventually Heupel is going to have to grow into that. Like that's part of becoming the head guy and getting comfortable with your program, is like you eventually have to become the CEO. You eventually have to become Kirby or Urban or Saban or all these other guys.
Ryan
like you
Day.
have to eventually do that. Ryan Day, like that has to happen. So for me, maybe the fastest way to do that is hiring someone he can trust, that he knows the offense will be fine. They can work together, and it's not going to just, they're not going to throw out what he's doing. So that part of it to me, I do think might meet in the middle in terms of what we're talking about when it comes to Heupel's game management this year. And then obviously not completely revamping the offense with an outside offensive coordinator like a Chip Kelly who doesn't run anything that Heupel does. I think you can find guys who can acquiesce to what Heupel is running, especially based on what we've seen this year, which is a lot more of an NFL evolved type of scheme than what we saw those first 4 years under Heupel.
I would just rather go with Heupel as the play caller than Heupel than the full game management side of coaching. I understand what you're saying. Like most of the national champions recently have not had their head coach calling plays. That is true. I still think that Tennessee's at its best if Heupel, or maybe one like Alex Golesh played a big part in that, right? But that was someone that was Heupel's right-hand man, so you were able to pass that off. So I get what you're saying. Maybe you could find someone that could fill that similar type of role that Alex Golesh did back in 21 and 22. for me right now, I'm just fully on. You just need someone. You can be the CEO and you can do all the CEO type of things a head coach does while you have someone in your ear telling you to call a timeout and telling you, hey, you got to hurt. And doing those, it's really just been the clock management that's just killed them at times. And so if you just get someone, even if they don't have like an associate head coach tag, even if it's just someone that's already on the staff or something like that, that's just part of their game day duties now, he needs help in that category. But I like him as a play caller, and the offense has been fantastic this year. So I don't think that's something going to mess up too much. And I also think, sure, Josh Heupel gets the bulk of the credit for changing the offense this offseason and for getting Joey Aguilar up to speed. Joey Halsley's also involved in that. He's also involved in getting Joey Aguilar up to speed in 100 days. He's also involved in those conversations about how do you adjust this offense and get it to look more pro style and evolve under Heupel. So I think you have to give him a little bit of credit too. It just feels like it would be a weird time to move on from Joey Halsley a year after the offense kind of looks like it's back on track.
That's fair. Jack Foster, the 2026 baseball schedule is officially released here. Taping this on a Thursday. Where do you think the toughest part of this schedule, the meat, the real grinder part of it, is going to be based on your 2026 expectations?
Yeah, I think it's kind of early, honestly. I think it's the month that starts with at Vandy to end March, running through both Mississippi series, ending with a home series against Ole Miss in mid-April. I feel like Vandy, LSU, Miss State, Ole Miss. That's the stretch you look at. Alabama at home doesn't scare me. Going to Lexington has been challenging in the past. We'll see what they look like this year. Home against Texas will be tough for sure. That'll be a massive storyline series close to the end of the season, the penultimate regular season series. That's a big one, but like I said, the prior two aren't as bad. And then you close the season in Oklahoma City against Oklahoma. That'll be fun. The last two are tough, right? Texas and Oklahoma will be very challenging before Hoover. But I think that 4 of the Mississippi schools, Vandy and LSU, is what you look at when you look at the schedule. A nice home opening series against Mizzou. The first SEC series at home against Mizzou after a road trip to Georgia. I actually think the schedule is not too bad. You don't have back-to-back road series, I believe, at all. I think it's a pretty good SEC schedule, but those 4 in a row is what I look to first.
Yeah, it's pretty balanced. I think you probably wish you had Ole Miss or Bama on the road potentially with some of these road series. Like, I think this is going to be this is going to be pretty challenging for Tennessee. Like, going to Stark Vegas. We'll see what they look like with pour one out for Ryan Sylvia's guy taking over for the Bulldogs in 2026. But say it again.
The Who's.
Yeah. Jack, you didn't know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Sylvia is
No, I know. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together for a second.
Yeah. Don't get him started on Virginia Tech and Tennessee, the rivalry that wasn't or is not.
Apparently Josh Heupel is going to Virginia Tech. That's what I saw on some message boards. So.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I would love to, dude. I mean, many are saying that once Virginia
I'm sure
Tech...
Crimson Chase would love Josh Heupel to go to Virginia Tech. Get him out of Tennessee.
What a pod. We'll end on this, Ryan Sylvia. Ruby Whitehorn dismissed from the Lady Vols this week. We saw game 1, obviously, without her, but there wasn't a lot of time to really get a feel of things and like what the rotation, everything is going to look like post Ruby Whitehorn for the Lady Vols. How much does her departure change their ceiling this year, in your opinion? And how does Kim adjust the rotation without her now that she's going to have some more time and just knows that like she's not a part of it and I gotta adjust?
I don't think it'll be a change in the rotation as far as like, all right, this person who's playing 3, 4, 5 minutes is playing 15 to 18 minutes now. I think it'll just kind of be a little bit more across the board. Maybe you get a little bit bigger of a role for one of the freshmen, Denia Prawl or Maya Paldo. Maybe that's the route you go. Maybe they get a little bit more involved, but I think it'll more likely look like more minutes for Mia Paldo, who's already going to play a lot. Talasia Cooper, maybe she goes from, all right, Talasia, you need 26 minutes tonight to now she's playing 30, 31 minutes. And all right, even someone that doesn't play the same position on paper, like a Janiah Barker, all right, you're going from 26 minutes, now you got to play like 29 just to keep your best players on the floor for most of the game. That's something that, she gets a lot of attention for the hockey substitutions, for the 5 in, 5 out. A lot of the time it's, all right, let's just get 2 players on the floor. Let's get 3 players on the floor. And you want to keep your Talasia Coopers, who played over 30 minutes against NC State. your best players on the floor for as long as possible. So I don't think it'll be like a plug and play, like your offensive lineman goes down and you got to plug in David Sanders isn't ready to go to start the season. You plug in Jesse Perry at right tackle. It's not going to be something like that. I think it'll just kind of be, a little bit more for everyone else. As far as the ceiling, I mean, are they a worse team without Ruby Whitehorn? Yeah, she was a really good player. She was in year 2. She brought the experience. She's was a great scorer at all 3 levels. Is it going to be a situation where their ceiling falls out and, man, this was a Final Four team before, now it's not? I don't think so. I think anything they want to accomplish, which would be a Final Four and then beyond, is still on the table for them. They're still really talented. It's a worse team for sure, but I don't think it's to the point of like, man, this season's getting derailed or anything like that.
Well, there you have it. Jack Foster, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Rocky Top Insider and Omaha Productions this week?
Yeah, as I mentioned, live SV pods every Saturday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, recapping the day. Lots of fun with Scott and Steve. We also have a midweek pod now on Wednesdays, reacting to the college football playoff rankings and talking NFL. We have 2 Meanakheim shows a week, recapping and previewing the NFL slates. 4 Always College Footballs a week. I actually was on Always College Football this week on our Wednesday morning show, reacting to the college football playoff rankings with Greg, posing some questions, having some fun. And the Traeger Hour once a week as well. Lots of compelling interviews there for RTI if Sylvia can take the lead on that one.
Well, there you go. Ryan, Sylvia, what can the good folks check out from you and the team at RockyTopInsider.com this week?
Yeah, I mean, we got basketball, obviously, with the football bye week. That's kind of maybe the headline this weekend. Lady Vols back in action Friday. Men's team, Nate Ament and company, back in action Saturday. We'll have full game coverage of that. But it is football season. It's always football season in Knoxville, so we'll have you covered on all the little details of Tennessee football and what's going on there. I'm sure some baseball stuff will happen with Josh Elander, maybe some softball, whatever you need, Tennessee Athletics, RockyTopInsider.com. But also, if you're a good guy, Chase, you will check out the SV pod live on Saturday night. It's your homework.
I'll be asleep.
It's your homework. You better be there.
Stay up.
Comments.
No.
I'm going to be looking in the comments for the Chase Thomas YouTube channel.
No, I think his burner
happen.
Tuscaloosa Thomas or something.
Tuscaloosa. This is just never going to end. Like this it's a 3-month bid at this point.
What was the other nicknames, Sylvia?
I think it was Crimson Chase.
Crimson Chase, Teton Thomas, Houndstooth Thomas, Roll Tide Thomas.
There's Thomas.
Oh yeah, what Chase? Oh man, what? Henry Toho Thomas or something along those lines.
Yeah,
y'all really grasping at straws now. Like you're really.
Whatever that one was, we were cooking that one up about 3 months ago, and that was a good one. Whatever.
Man, yeah, it was amazing, Chase. It was really good.
Ryan, Sylvia, Jack Foster.
Here was the best one. Let it Chase Thomas know. That was the best one in my.
Are you going back and looking at the nicknames?
No, yes, I was trying to stall so I can find it. Let it Chase Thomas know is great. That's
a classic.
Great stuff. I appreciate it. Great stuff from Jack Foster and Ryan Sylvia. I'll talk to y'all again very soon.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.